Genius Kids. Cultivating love for learning.
Chapter 2: Features of the Earth. Learning points. Knowledge acquisition. After completing this chapter, we will be able to know about the importance of the Earth, the major landforms of the Earth, the climate of the Earth, the water bodies of the Earth. Introduction. Dear students, we know that the Earth is a home planet. Life exists only on this planet. But it is not the same everywhere. It has many different landforms. In some parts, it is flat, while in others, there are many mountains. Some of its parts are rocky while some are deserts. In this chapter, you will study about the different features of land. Landforms of the Earth. Children, do you know that the Earth consists of land and water? The Earth's surface is not the same everywhere. There are many types of lands on the Earth. Some parts of the land are flat and some others can be low or high. In some places the land is covered with snow, sand, forest, etc. Landforms are natural physical features of the Earth's surface. Examples of landforms are valleys, plateaus, mountains, plains, hills, loess, deserts, glaciers, islands, coastal plains, etc. 1. Valleys. A valley is a hollow or surface depression of the earth bounded by hills or mountains that slope down to a stream, lake or the ocean, formed by water or ice erosion. Systems of valleys extend through the plains, hills and mountains. Rivers and streams flowing through valleys drain from interior land regions to the ocean. At the bottom of many valleys there is fertile soil, which makes excellent farmland. Most valleys on dry land are formed by running water of streams and rivers. Valleys are usually in U-shaped. Narrow deep valleys are sometimes called canyons. 2. Plateaus. To the south of the Great Plain of northern India lies the extensive Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau is made up of ancient igneous and metamorphic rocks. It is the oldest part of the Indian subcontinent. This plateau is divided by the Narmada River into two parts. 1. The Malwa Plateau. 2. The Deccan Plateau. Some great rivers that flow in Deccan Plateau are Narmada, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, etc. Critical thinking. Other plateaus are the Colorado Plateau of the United States, the Bolivian Plateau in South America, plateaus of Anatolia, Arabia, Iran and the Tibet region in China. 3. Mountains. You will also see that some parts of the land are much higher than its surrounding areas. Such higher land is called a mountain. The topmost part of the mountain is called the peak. Most of mountain peaks are covered with snow. Most of the rivers flow from the snow-covered peaks. Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. Mountains occur more often in oceans than on land. Some islands are the peaks of mountains coming out of water. Mountains are formed by volcanic eruptions and disturbances of uplift of the Earth's crust. Examples of mountains formed by periodically dangerous volcanic eruptions are Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens in United States, Mount Erebus in Antarctica, Mount Vesuvius in Italy and Mount Fuji in Japan. Children, you will see a series of mountains joined together with each other. Such mountains are called mountain ranges. Some mountain ranges have gaps between them. Such gaps are called mountain passes. These passes help us to cross the mountain range. 4. Plains. To the south of the Himalayas lies a large area of flat land called the Northern Fertile Plains. It is a vast stretch of level land extending from the west to the east. The northern plains of India are constituted by two large river basins. These are 1. The Indus River Basin, 2. The Ganga-Brahmaputra Basin. Most of the population of India live in this area. India is the largest populous country of the world. 5. Hills. A hill is also a higher part of land than its surrounding areas. But a hill is not as huge or high as a mountain. A number of hills joined together form a range of hills. Hills are elevations of the Earth's surface that have distinct summits, but are lower in elevation than mountains. Hills may be formed by the deposition of debris or sand by glaciers and wind. They can also be created by faults and erosion. The most famous hills in the world are the Loess Hills. The Black Hills are also famous. Men also make hills by digging up soil and dumping it in a giant pile. Volcanoes are also another way that hills are formed. Volcanoes form hills when they erupt. The hills are usually covered with grass and trees. The weather on the hills is very pleasant. That is why people from the plains visit the hill stations during in summer holidays. Critical thinking. Shimla, Mussoorie, Kullu, Ooty, Nainital, etc. are famous hill stations in India. 6. Loesses. A loess is a geologically recent deposit of silt or material which is usually yellowish or brown in color and consists of tiny mineral particles brought by wind to the places where they now lie. Loess is a type of silt which forms fertile topsoil in some parts of the world. Loess deposits are usually a few meters thick. Loess was formed during the time after the Ice Age when glaciers covered a great portion of the earth. Topsoil made up of loess is found in the center and northwestern parts of United States in Central and Eastern Europe and in Eastern China. 7. Glaciers. Ice sheets and glaciers form the largest component of perennial ice on this planet. Over 75% of the world's fresh water is presently locked up in these frozen reservoirs. A glacier is a huge mass of ice that moves slowly over land. They form in cold polar regions and in high mountains. The low temperatures in these areas enable large amounts of snow to build up and turn into ice. Most glaciers range in thickness from about 91 to 3000 meters. The river Ganga rises from Gangotri and Yamuna rises from Yamunotri glaciers. Huge moving sheets of ice are wearing down parts of the Earth's surface in Antarctica and Greenland. These ice sheets are situated in Greenland, Antarctica, and other frozen parts of the North and South Poles. The ice sheet that covers much of Greenland is growing smaller because of a gradual rise in temperature in the area since the early 1900s. Critical thinking. Gurkha soldiers of the Indian Army walked on Siachen Glacier, India in 2000. Siachen Glacier is the highest battlefield in the world. 8. Desert. A desert is a sandy part of land. It is very large area of land having very little water and very few plants growing on it. In the northwestern part of India is the Indian desert or Thar Desert. The people here lead a difficult life. It is very hot and dry in the daytime during summer. However, the nights are quite pleasant and cool during winter. It rains little in the desert areas. There are very few plants and trees that grow here. Critical thinking. The camel is the most important animal in the desert. It is also known as the ship of the desert. 9. Island. The land that is surrounded by water on all sides is called an island. There are many islands in the world. Some of these islands are a part of India. One group of islands is in the Bay of Bengal. These are called the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. There are 571 small and large islands in this group. The Lakshadweep Island is another group of islands in the Arabian Sea. There are 36 islands in this group. 10. The coastal plains. There are narrow strips of plain land along the sea coast in the southern part of India. These lands are called the coastal plains. These plains meet at Kanyakumari in the south. The southern part of this plain is called the Malabar Coast, and the southern part of eastern coastal plain is called the Coromandel Coast. Indian Peninsula. 3 sides of India are surrounded by water. So India is also called the Indian Peninsula. The Indian Ocean is to the south of India, and the Bay of Bengal is to its east and the Arabian Sea to its west. Climate of India. The presence of mountains, rivers, plains and forests leads to different climates in the different parts of India. In North India, the summers are very hot and dry and the winters are cold. The mountains have cold climate almost throughout the year. In coastal plains, it is neither very hot nor very cold. Water bodies of the earth. We have already know that almost 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. Water is present in different forms on the earth. These are called water bodies. Some water bodies are as follows. Oceans. These are the biggest and the deepest water bodies. They separate continents from one to another. There are 5 oceans in the world: Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Southern Ocean, and Indian Ocean. Oceans are very useful for water transport. Big ships move from country to country through these oceans. Oceans are also the sources of various substances like salt, petroleum, etc. Sea. Sea is also a big water body, but it is smaller than the ocean. It is also used for transportation. Red Sea, Black Sea, Mediterranean Sea are a few examples. River. The flow of water from a mountain as a stream is called a river. Rivers provide us water for drinking and irrigation. Lakes. These are small water bodies surrounded by land on all sides. The water of a lake may be salty or fresh. Pond. It is also a water body, but it is smaller than a lake. The water of a pond is not suitable for drinking. Canal. It is an artificial channel of water. It is constructed to take water from one area to another for drinking and irrigation or for a floods control measure. Critical thinking. The longest river in the world is the Nile, Africa. The longest river in India is the Ganga. Waterfall. It is a place where flowing water rapidly drops from an elevation as it flows over a steep region or a cliff. Waterfall is considered to be one of the most beautiful phenomena in nature. Some waterfalls are used to generate hydroelectric power. Critical thinking. The Caspian Sea is the largest saltwater lake, while Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world. Continuous review. Valleys, plateaus, mountains, plains, Hills, deserts, glaciers, islands, coastal plains, etc. are the major landforms of the earth. Mountains are formed by volcanic eruptions and disturbances of uplift of the earth's crust. India is the most populous country in the world. Shimla, Mussoorie, Kullu, Ooty, Nainital, etc. are the famous hill stations of India. Over 75% of the world's freshwater is currently locked up in frozen reservoirs. Desert is a vast sandy part of the land. The climate of India differs in different parts due to the presence of mountains, rivers and forests.
Like, share and subscribe.